The eyes of a Dark Lord of the Sith represent their power and unchecked rage in the dark side. It represents the fire that burns within them, the fire of the darkness. It represents that they are deeply enough connected to it that it is actually warranting a physical change within their body. Their eyes, however, are not always a permanent thing, but they do appear to be in most Darksiders that feel the deepest connection to it. Most notably in the Darth Vader comic, we see Darth Vader's eyes change back to the blue of Anakin Skywalker in a moment of doubt for the Sith Lord, but after he conquers his vision, he again is gifted with the intense burning eyes of a Dark Lord of the Sith. Palpatine was a Sith Lord that always had the yellow fiery eyes of a Sith within him. He was so connected to the darkness, in fact, that these eyes never seemed to fade past the point where a Sith disguise was lifted in Revenge of the Sith. Other Darksiders who are not in fact Sith also sport the Sith eyes, such as the Grand Inquisitor. But this raises the question, why if Supreme Leader Snoke is such a powerful and knowledgeable Darksider, does he not have the eyes of one so immersed in the darkness? Let's start out with what we know about Snoke. We know that he did in fact see the rise and fall of the Empire, as well as have inside information on what happened to its leaders, Vader and Palpatine, specifically though Darth Vader. This is what Snoke had to say about Vader and the fall of the Empire at the hands of Luke Skywalker, the returned Jedi Knight. I watched the Galactic Empire rise and then fall. The gullible prattle on about the triumph of truth and justice, of individualism and free will, as if such things were solid and real, instead of simple subjective judgments. The historians have it all wrong. It was neither poor strategy nor arrogance that brought down the Empire. You know too well what did. KYLO Ren. Sentiment. Yes, such a simple thing. Such a foolish error of judgment. A momentary lapse in an otherwise exemplary life. Had Lord Vader not succumbed to emotion at the crucial moment, had the father killed the son, the Empire would have prevailed, and there would be no threat of Luke Skywalker's return today. In addition to this, we are also aware from the Empire's End novels that details the year after the Battle of Endor leading into the final battle of Jakku, we learn that something beyond known space was calling to Palpatine to come out and see what dark secrets lay beyond even what the Dark Lord knew at the time. The leading theory for this is that Snoke was the one calling to Palpatine and calling him to come and meet as two powerful Darksiders. But despite these two signs that Snoke is indeed a disciple of the dark side of the Force, he still does not have Sith eyes. This leads me into the title of the video, about more of a gray view on the Force, and the fact that in actuality, unlike the Sith, Snoke does have a more muddled or gray perception on the Force, rather than just the light or the dark side. This mostly comes from Snoke's comments to KYLO Ren on how he explains to him that he is powerful and significant because he is not all dark or all light, but rather somewhere in the middle. This is Snoke's direct quote to KYLO Ren. It is where you are from, what you are made of, the dark side, and the light. The finest sculptor cannot fashion a masterpiece from poor materials. He must have something pure, something strong, something unbreakable with which to work. By this comment alone, we know Snoke does not scoff at the power of the light side like other Darksiders have before, which is also why he may adhere to certain viewpoints and abilities of the light side of the Force while still remaining predominantly dark. As we have seen before in Legends continuity, those that use both the light and the dark side of the Force are the most dangerous. As in Legends, Abeloth was a mix of the dark and the light and posed the greatest threat to the galaxy and its safety since Palpatine. This could also explain why Snoke does not have the yellow eyes of a Sith Lord or Darksider deep within its power, like Palpatine or Darth Vader was, as it was long ago confirmed that Snoke is indeed not a Sith Lord. To find this balance is also a journey that Luke Skywalker has began, as his perception on the light and dark have become, quote, so much bigger. This could be the same for Snoke, only as Luke leans more towards the light, Snoke mostly embraces the dark, which explains why we never see him with the Sith eyes, despite them being a sign of a servant of the dark side of the Force. This could lead more into Snoke's gray perception on the Force, rather than just strictly adhering to the darkness, and thus why he values the conflict within KYLO Ren so heavily, and the balance between the light and the dark. Having a student in the middle as well is a valuable thing to have for Snoke. Unlike the relationship between Palpatine and Darth Vader, Snoke values this conflict and the hatred and yet love that still lay within KYLO Ren. But what are your thoughts on this theory and the fact that Snoke could in fact be somewhat of a gray Jedi, even if more strongly following the dark side of the Force? I also do want to make this clear. Snoke is predominantly a Darksider, but this does not mean that he still does not follow certain parts of the light. As a side note, the term gray Jedi is not officially canon, but I have used it here to more quickly explain a Force user who uses both the light and dark side of the Force, rather than an official term. But what are your thoughts on this theory, and why do you believe Snoke values both the light and dark within KYLO Ren, rather than just the power of the dark side alone? Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed and want to help the channel out, be sure to hit the like button. If you would like to see more Star Wars explanation videos and stay up to date with all the Star Wars news from The Last Jedi to Star Wars Rebels, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to turn on notifications to see everything as soon as it comes out and to make sure that you become a living holocron today. If you would like to get in direct contact with me, follow me on Twitter, where we discuss all things Star Wars and debate with one another on the various topics concerning the universe. If you have any video ideas you want to see explored, leave them in the comments below the video with hashtag suggestion at the end of your comment so I can find it better. If you do end up leaving a suggestion, I really appreciate it and hope to one day make a full video dedicated to your question or suggested topic. Thanks again just for simply watching the video and your continued support on this Star Wars journey. May the Force be with you and have a great day.